Good morning, Matt.
Oh, hello, my sweet Forrest. How are you, my friend?
Oh, I am good, my sweet sugar plum fairy. How are you?
Oh, I'm so delighted to see your beautiful face.
Oh, it's been so long. It's been
It
too
really
long.
has.
I need to apologise because I am the reason our normal Wednesday slot has not been the case this week.
No,
It's been a mental old week.
it has.
We were worried about poor Peggy, basically.
Oh,
Peggy nearly had a trip to the vets.
what happened? What happened?
Well, she was a bit bunged up. Didn't have a poo
Oh,
for about 3 days,
Oh.
and then, but luckily, I've never celebrated anything have a poo in my life, but that's the first time. Peggy went to the litter tray, and we both clapped and celebrated outside of it. As soon as she came out, she must have been very confused. It was like a red carpet premiere on the way out of the cat litter tray. We were like, yeah. She was like,
okay, all
yeah.
right, guys.
All right. Yeah, steady on.
Well, I should shit more.
Yeah. Why don't you do this every time? She had like 4 in one day. She was just hoping we were outside. Woo! Oh, no one's here.
That'd be so good. Oh, bless her. Well, I'm glad she's done a poo. I'm
Yeah.
glad she's better. Yeah,
So
that's
she's
good.
she's all right, and the house is not at normal now. And here we are, mate.
I know. Here we are.
Well, how are you? How's your week been?
Absolutely insane as usual. My show's about to go up. Let's say the word is go up, I suppose, isn't it? To start, to premiere. It is a world premiere as well, so it's a brand new show. It is. Yeah, it's been a crazy few weeks because we're selling tickets. We sold out 2 of our 3 performances. We actually added a third because we were selling out. Which is very exciting, also nerve-wracking at the same time. But I've been toing and froing across the country to do my normal jobs and then coming back here and doing this wonderful, glorious thing that we do.
Yeah.
We're doing a 3-day podcast today because we're absolutely crazy people.
Not a 3-day podcast.
3 podcasts in one day, Jesus! Great to show my fatigue.
I mean that will be that's what we're doing for our 100th special is a 3-day long
3-day
podcast. We just keep talking.
Oh my God, a podcast about, we just do it for like 3 days straight.
Mate, Jesus Christ. You
That'd
do
be
a charity 24-hour podcast.
Oh, let's stop coming up with ideas. For Christ's sake.
But we have had a very special email, Matt.
We have had a very special email.
We have had, so if for the long-term followers since episode 1, I got extremely excited about the fact that we had a Belgium listener. It seemed like it was only one listener from Belgium, and we obviously called them Bob.
We called them Bob.
Bob from Belgium. Well, we've had an email come through. Which is from Belgium Bob. Now, yeah, Matt, do you want to say straight off the bat?
Right, just straight right off the bat. This is honestly, when this dropped in our inbox, I was like, this cannot be legit. Someone is trolling us here, or if it is legit, I need some hardcore evidence. But just read the email.
This is Belgium Bob. What Belgium Bob is his email. I won't read the email out, but it is Belgium Bob is in the email, which is brilliant.
Belgium Bob. Okay.
So Belgium Bob has said, tuck in, Matt. Here we go.
All right.
Hello, podcast heroes. It is I, Bob from Belgium. I've been listening to you for a long time now, and have very much enjoyed all of your chattings about superheroes, what you love and what you hate. You are funny guys. The name of your podcast makes me think of a saying we have here in Flemish, stir uw cat, which translates into English means send your cat. The meaning is don't show up. So it's similar to Don't Be a Hero, I think. I think you guys are fun, especially... I think you guys are fun, especially the Australian one. I hope you are not missing home too much, Lee. Which one's Australian?
Are we talking about Lee? Is that Lee?
I think so. I mean, the guy, he's saying, you guys are fun, especially the one person who's been on 2 podcasts in a year and a
The
half.
one that's not actually a co-host. But we do love Lee. We do love you.
Thank you, Bob from Belgium. And he says, thank you for all your entertainment. Who do you think would win in a fight between Iron Man and Batman? 2 rich men with unlimited resources. It's a tough one, no?
It is a tough one. Okay, right. All right, before I answer that question,
Let me, and it carries.
we've been okay for the best part. No, not for the best part. For a year and a half, we have been talking about this mysterious Bob from Belgium. Okay, we got really excited when we could start looking at who's watching, where are they watching from. The fact that we started getting international viewers was so exciting. Dear listeners, you are international, dear listeners. We appreciate the heck out of you, and we love you so flipping much. But like Bob particularly was one of the first, right? And we've been talking about Bob for a long time, and now all of a sudden we've got, and especially after a few weeks, we've been calling the fact that we've been getting no emails in our inbox. I am suspicious. I am pretty suspicious. I'm pretty suspicious. Okay, I am. All right. So I want it to be real. I really do. So Bob, if you are listening, okay, and that is a genuine email, I need a further email of evidence, hardcore evidence, maybe just an image of you in Belgium. I don't know how we get evidence. We'll just clarify. But also, I've got theories. This is another podcaster trolling us wonderfully. And if it is, props to you, because that is hilarious. But also mean, because I'm desperate. I'm desperate to meet Bob.
But I also what I would love to set up the feature that if anyone sends in an email, because we do encourage emails. Don't be a hero podcast at gmail.com. Send us an email, but from now on you all have to put where it is you're from. You're not specifically, you can make it a country, but it has to be the country followed by your name. So I would be Essex Forest or England Forest, right? And that's the format we're going to go for from now on. So you contact us, you let us know. Belgium Bob is just fantastic.
Belgium Bob. Well, he didn't get it right. Bob from Belgium. That's what we've been saying in the podcast. So that's why I'm immediately like, oh, it feels like is that AI? Is that like an AI email? Like, I don't know. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it feels like ChatGPT is like subtly taking over the podcasting world and just like infiltrating kind of emails like that. Who knows? Anyway, I'm answering the question. I think Iron Man would win. All right, I think Iron Man would win.
Who do you think would win in a fight between Iron Man and Batman? Yeah, so Iron Man is more teched up and Batman's more on the combat, right?
Yeah.
So within the fight, technology's more likely to fuck up. So I would say that actually Batman's relying on some decent combat and self-defense mechanisms there.
Yeah.
That will never fail him. So I would, and Batman has a lot more stealth.
True. So who are you going for? Batman,
I think.
Okay, fair enough. All right. Iron Man and Batman together. Anyway, it doesn't matter. We're not here to talk about Bob from Belgium, unfortunately, or Iron Man and Batman. We're here to talk about a Marvel movie, an actual movie. Not a TV series, but an actual movie. We're here. Hooray! Finally, we're here to talk about Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Roll that intro. Okay.
So here we are. We are delving into the world of this film, which was released in 2022, last year, Matt.
Last year, mate. It's crazy to think that we are at this point already now in terms of our phase 4. We're nearly caught up. We're so close. Well, obviously, I don't think we'll be caught up until maybe early next year. But you know, this is exciting. It's been a movie I've been waiting to watch again, even though I feel like this might be like the third or fourth time I've watched it. You know, because I did watch when it first came out on Disney Plus. Might have been earlier this year or maybe late last year. I watched it quite a few times because I was genuinely quite intrigued by it. I couldn't really tell whether I enjoyed it or not, and I think I've got an answer now. But yeah, let's go straight in. Forrest, overview, thoughts, my dear friends.
Whoa.
It's a movie!
Too long without a film, you've lost the format.
I completely lost the format, mate.
He's gone. So, shall I hit you up with a summary, my dear Matthew?
All right. This is your training, mate. This is what we do. We're actors. You can do this, all right? I want you to take a deep breath in, all right? I'm going to direct you because you're not in my show, all right? So... I threw it back. That's right. I threw it back. You fucking give it to me last week. I'll fucking give it to you.
Sorry I don't feature in your world premiere. Not even got a ticket for your world premiere. I need to buy one. But yes, okay. Right, yeah, director.
Okay.
Mate. How would you like it?
I want I want it to be slow.
Ooh.
I want it to be slow. I want it to be
Is this the synopsis?
The next word was not going to help, but I'm going to say it. I want it to be slow. I want it to be commanding.
Ooh.
And I want it to be strong.
Ooh.
Okay.
Strong, commanding.
Slow, commanding,
slow.
and strong.
All right, okay. Here we go.
All right.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. Sorry, I need to put myself on mute. Hang on.
Here we go. In Marvel Studios, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, the MCU unlocks the multiverse and pushes its boundaries further than ever before. Journey into the unknown with Doctor Strange, who, with the help of mystical allies, both old and new, traverses the mind-bending and dangerous alternate realities of the multiverse to confront a mysterious new adversary.
My God, if that hasn't caused some involuntary physical reaction, dear listener, to you, I mean, I don't know what will. That was that was delicious.
That's an incredibly ambiguous synopsis, though.
It really is, actually. It doesn't really say much at all.
It's literally just Doctor Strange in it, by the sound of that. What, like one other person?
There's one other character.
Yeah.
Doesn't even say America Chavez.
No, doesn't say.
That's out of order.
Oh, no,
I mean, she's literally in the first frame with Doctor Strange, Defender Strange.
Oh, mate.
That's unreal. Okay, fine.
General thoughts, Matt. Hit us up, mate.
Okay. This film had everything going for it. It had everything going for it to be a very strong, exciting MCU project. It had in Sam Raimi as a director for the first time in the MCU, as a horror Marvel movie for its first. It had all the potential of it being genuinely, maybe even one of the top 5 movies of MCU's, like MCU fans' kind of list. But it misses, and it misses on so many levels. And I think what it does is that it kind of like teets on the edge of giving fan service of what they want in terms of dream castings, in terms of introductory of legacy characters outside of other multiverses, and then it kind of chokes it and then chucks it away and goes, actually, that's got nothing to do with it. We're just going to rewrite this and focus on that. There are bits that I really enjoy. There are bits that I really dislike, and I'm reminding myself of the first time when I watched it in the cinema, where I came out of the movie feeling a little bit deflated. Now, I think some of that is performance, and I think some of that is narrative as well. This has got to be up there with the kind of like Thor: Love and Thunder just wasn't a good movie, but this is like annoyingly could have been really, really great. Annoyingly could have been great, and it just misses. I genuinely get a little bit annoyed about it because I would love it. But it just didn't get there. Those are my thoughts. What are yours?
Do you know what? I have to applaud your thoughts because they match mine in pretty much entirety, really. This is the second time I've watched this film. I remember coming out of that cinema being so pissed off about it. It was just so. There are so many bits of it which you severely question the writers, the director. How on earth that made its way into a massive Hollywood movie? I will never know. I am glad this will be the last time I ever watch this film.
Fucking hell, that's saying something. Wow, okay.
Because it is just, there's so many reasons. But it is sad how they do it, and it does feel like there's a lot of fan service in there. And this is one of the things I'll instantly say is a couple of weeks ago I made a comment about fan service when we talked about Spider-Man, about fan service not being a negative thing.
Yes.
However, when it is used in a bad way, it then brings all of the negative connotations to bringing fan service. If you are just doing fan service for fan service sake, that is a bad thing to do.
For instance, if we didn't get any fan service in this movie, in order for it to be a better story, I would have much rather that. Do you know what I mean? Like, we got certain castings that, okay, I'm just going to say it now, because I'm just going to go straight into it. We got John Krasinski as Reed Richards, right? That has been a fan casting that has been put down the line for years before this movie even happened. And when it happened, there was a genuine pop when we watched it in the cinema, and I still get excited about it now. But we were shortchanged with that, and I feel like it was kind of just used as haha, look, this is what you could have got. And he's that spaghetti. Fuck you, let's carry on. And it's like, why? Don't do that. Just use it more as a kind of a plot point. Don't get us all excited at the fact that it's John Krasinski. Just get somebody else playing that role. Yeah? Or even, if anything, reprise the other guy that played him in the original movies, right? Just focus on the story. Focus on the narrative, because it had absolutely everything going for it. WandaVision set up a beautiful villain story for Scarlet Witch, and it just got lost in the fray. In the fray with all of this other shit happening around it. Genuinely, mate, I get pissed off about it. Genuinely do. Because I feel like Elizabeth Olsen gave everything she wanted and could have with this role. And I would say she was the best thing out of the movie. However, everything was just didn't hit. It just wasn't justified at all.
I will raise you on that to this should have been a sequel series to WandaVision that was mostly Wanda and had Doctor Strange throughout.
Yeah.
Or a Wanda follow-up movie. Either or. TV series or a film, but it should have been Wanda's film or TV series, and Doctor Strange became a part of that. Because But let's take it through the story. So we are introduced to America Chavez at the beginning in a dream sequence, which turns out not to be a dream sequence, because the dreams are just an insight into yourself in another variant.
So your dream, when you dream about yourself in a different place, that is your variant's life playing out. That's like, that concept isn't new. In terms of that's been explored in different movies, left, right, and center. But like that as a concept for the MCU, I think that's really exciting. But I did enjoy the immediate action, straight in with high stakes. We immediately got Defender Strange. We immediately got the introduction to America Chavez, and as well, I think America Chavez, in terms of her character, as an LGBTQ plus teenager, in terms of that being the first for the MCU, and also in terms of like playing the role as a teenager as well. From like you got Miss Marvel, you got her as well, it being played out together. It's really interesting, and I feel like I'll be interested to see how those merge. I think we should be kind of leaning towards it, Young Avengers, but it should be done hopefully, correctly. It started off strong. I think it did start off strong, and again, what was the squid name again? Was it? No, it's not Galactus. What I'm talking about.
No,
the
it's
squiddy
definitely
thing,
not Galactus.
the eyeball squiddy thing.
Yeah.
That was all good. I think, and as well, we then meet, Doctor Strange, going to the wedding, and obviously he doesn't get any payoff in terms of relationship that he wants with, the names have gone. All names have gone in my head.
But I think this is a problematic thing in Doctor Strangeley. Right, there were so many words chucked out, like the Book of Ashanti. Right, just
Christine.
things get chucked out so much within this film that's part of the reason why I couldn't enjoy it, because it didn't fixate on one thing long enough. It just fixated on fucking everything all of the time, doing everything, and it's just like, well, can we just focus on one part of this? But even just 10 minutes would be nice. Yeah,
literally. With the scene with Christine getting married, and obviously Doctor Strange doesn't get any emphasis in terms of like solidifying his character arc with romance, let's say, and that's what he wants. But there's actually, I will mention, in the pews where he's sitting down and he has that conversation with that character who talks to him about the blip and talks to him about the snap and what he did for the universe. There is a woman behind, literally, and in terms of this podcast, it has to be. This is my favourite supporting piece of performance that I've ever seen in an MCU project. She is acting her absolute arse off in terms of talking to the people next to her, overhearing the conversation in front of her. She is like emoting. Her eyes are wide. Honestly, you've got to have a look at it. It's so good. Props to her. I need to know your name. I need to know who you are. We need to get you on this podcast because I want to say what an awesome job you did as a supporting role, as an extra, and you made yourself a killing there, mate. Well done, you. Did you notice?
No.
Oh, mate. She's like in the back talk going like this. Yeah. Like, it's so good. I'm like, this woman has got it. I bet the director, whoever's at the back with Sam Raimi, with like the cameraman's going, for fuck's sake, she's doing it again.
Have you ever watched Modern Family, the sitcom?
Yes, it's exactly that.
Gloria.
Yeah. No. It is exactly that.
Genius. Oh, mate. So yeah, we get the whole wedding scene, which just plays out. Really, there's no special bit of story there. But they're talking on a balcony. What could have been? Doctor Strange should have been someone different. Stephen should have been a different guy, better guy, more improved guy. And then boom! Oh my God! There's this alien thing, chucking cars about all over the shot. And then we get an awesome cape transition where Stephen Knight jumps off of the balcony, like his cape falls down with him. He puts on the cape, and boom, Doctor Strange has entered the
Comes
building.
from his pocket square, doesn't it? Like his red pocket square that he has in his suit, and it then turns into the cape. That's pretty cool. It reminds me of the time of the nanotech where it was introduced in Iron Man's suit. where he's jumping off the building, goes Iron Man suit. Like, he very much took a Tony Starkism there, which is quite nice in terms of the legacy of Iron Man. He was very much influenced by that, clearly. But yeah, the combat scene, in terms of their working through it as well, I think it was really good. The way that they emoted the eye as well, which is just really interesting. I don't know how they managed to kind of show those emotions through that one eye, but that was quite interesting and a good bit of visual effects, actually, which is now, let's be honest, in the current timeline of the MCU and Marvel, it's actually quite impressive. So, yeah, I think, again, but then, there we go, that's it, that moment ends, and then we go to the next one in terms of then meeting Elizabeth Olsen later on down the line in her dreamscape, effectively.
Yeah, dreamscape. I have put odd having a full-on scene with Wanda and Strange, given they've had little to no communication before. So they have a big chat, don't they? And I find it extremely odd because we've never seen. I say never. I'm sure we have seen them have a conversation, but they are hardly a duo that we are used to. So seeing them talk as if they're like long-term friends. I mean, yes, they're part of the Avengers. Yes, they've been through a lot together, but I can't really see them two as a twosome that have talked like the way they were talking was like Peter Parker and Tony Stark. You know what I mean? They were talking with that level of familiarity about each other, which I found very strange.
And in terms of very good. In terms of Strange. Just give me a little idea on what you thought his performance was like in terms of Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange. Do you think there was any character development, or was he really riding on the coattails of his attitudes, let's say, from No Way Home?
I think Benedict Cumberbatch shouldn't have been Doctor Strange.
It's really interesting that you think that. Because I would argue he's probably one of the most perfect castings in the MCU.
There's so little personality there, and it's not like this film's the only one. The first Doctor Strange, I would argue, very good. He's got clear objectives. They've obviously done a bit of actioning with the bloke as he's gone through rehearsals. Thank you. But then Spider-Man and this, I'm just like, what are you achieving? It's just like Benedict Cumberbatch is walking around saying lines. There's no, I could not tell you what the personality of Doctor Strange is if I watched this film. I have no, like, there's no, he's not. You've got dark and serious because you like if you think of Bruce Wayne and the amount of times that we've seen various Batmans, and that's the kind of similar character for me, right? Whereas it's less about the personality, so it's not like the Joker. Do you know what I mean? You haven't got a Joker, or Tony Stark's got a really like clear character traits. Peter Parker, clear character trait. Whereas it feels to me that we're lacking that with Doctor Strange, and I feel like Benedict's lacking that. Your little your eyebrows are telling me you don't agree, my friend.
I know I do. I agree. There is absolutely something missing in this film with his performance. Not to say that it's not interesting. I think in terms of it, there's I think it's particularly his Dark Doctor Strange is quite good, and I quite enjoyed that. But it's not very charismatic. I think that's it. Yeah. It's not very charismatic. I do enjoy him. I do enjoy his character. I do enjoy him as Doctor Strange. I think he's a really good casting. The character of Doctor Strange itself is it's a little bit more grittier than Tony Stark, but there is Tony Starkisms. There's ego with Doctor Strange. It just, I think it comes across as arrogance, like we were talking about in No Way Home. His character comes across as arrogant as hell in the film, and it kind of rides on that a little bit more, where it's not just kind of the fact that he did save the universe. Let's not take that away from him. He did.
Right. I think talking about it, I've got a better way to say it. Benedict Cumberbatch. I find he cannot. I've struggled to see him play emotion, like and a variety of emotions.
Really?
For instance, well,
Did you not see? Did you
can
not
you
see him?
tell me any moment in this film where he's anything but middle ground emotion? Like there's no happiness or laughter, and there's no sadness or anger. It's just
in this.
all played in like there's no emotional journey there. The guy has opened the keys to potential fucking destruction and anarchy, and there is absolutely no change in his emotion throughout this film.
But he's got to be like that, hasn't he? In terms of what he's done, the fact that the amount of power that he has and beholds.
Tony Stark has that same power, but he still had very emotional. The gravitas of what he had was there, right?
But Doctor Strange literally lived through millions of scenarios of trying to find the way to defeat Thanos. Like, that was 10 seconds for us, but he was going in time, and it was going like the mental capabilities that he has compared to us on a human level is ridiculously vast. So of course he's going to be a little bit more stoic. Of course he's going to be emotionally disconnected, because he has to be. Tony Stark is an inherently human character with extraordinary abilities in terms of being able to produce all this tech, right? But he is at the root of it, still a human being. But I think with Doctor Strange, he's kind of lost that a little bit through his journey. He's Doctor Strange.
But is that interesting to watch?
I don't know. Maybe it's just not put across very well.
Is seeing a character that is emotionless because of what they've been through fun to watch? For me, that's no.
You're right there.
There's no, like, I would rather see that journey. And I suppose that's my argument. We haven't seen any other side to him ever. So we haven't seen him go from, oh God, things really affect me because I haven't been through this journey. We saw an ounce of it in the original Doctor Strange. We did see it. At the beginning, we saw him crumble as a person, and then he went into this magical, like, sorcerer world, and, you know, things changed. We did see an element of it. But I would argue that doesn't mean that forever all time you have zero commitment to any emotion.
I mean, Benedict Cumberbatch, it's not an argument that he's not a good actor. He is an amazing actor. It's not an argument. Like, you've got to watch his performances. Like, the first thing I saw him do was Frankenstein at the National Theatre, and it was quite possibly one of the best bits of performance that I've seen live ever. Right? But I think he's done really good performances in other things, other projects. But I think this is a character that I think actually, from source material, doesn't actually have that much to play with on screen.
Perhaps.
Do you know what I mean?
Sherlock Holmes, for instance.
So I don't think it's his fault.
Sherlock Holmes, there is a reason why the character of Sherlock doesn't often go through emotion. But even in that, he definitely had emotional scenes, and it packed a punch, and he was incredible at Sherlock Holmes. I love Benedict Cumberbatch Sherlock. That for me is perfect. And I think maybe you are right in that sense. That actually, Doctor Strange, is it about the writing that has meant that this character has not gone anywhere?
The fact that you say writing might actually explain it as well, because we do know that in this movie, Derrickson was the main writer at the time of it, and then he left. And then they brought in new writers. They actually brought in Thingy Bartlett. I can't remember. It's
Thingy Bartlett. What a name.
Bartlett was brought in as the lead writer, and they revamped the whole script. The project, in terms of writing, was thrown left, right, and centre. And they also had a lot of problems with COVID as well happening at the time. This was filmed during the height of COVID. It was issues with people being in the building. And I think I think you can quite clearly see that this was met quite similar to Black Widow in the sense that it was met with quite a lot of obstacles during the process. And and it kind of got lost in the way, because there's the thing, Doctor Strange was meant to show up in WandaVision. He was meant to show up in Loki.
Yeah.
And like, if we had that, I think this would have probably been a far stronger movie, because it would have played into those threads. And I think this is why, you know, we were just talking, you know, about Loki series 2, but like, that's why I think like this series of Loki is going to have all of that, because we didn't get really to do it in the first series, but probably because of scheduling and COVID. So, well, I mean, I think the writing's got a lot to do with the complications with the writers. And when you do know, when you're watching a movie where it's had several writers and several rewrites, you can feel it in the text. You can feel it in terms of the movement. And this is it. There were so many different character arcs going on at once. There was no threading through. And ultimately, this should have been just the main focus for Wanda's, you know, Scarlet Witchiness. And it just kind of got muddled with Christine, with all of the fan service stuff, and it it lost its way. America, and again, I feel like America Chavez, we got a bit, you know, there was that scene when they went back into the timeline, the incursion, and when they were looking at America Chavez's past in terms of her, you know, she's from the future, right? And you know, like you've got this really interesting character arc that needs to be played out a little bit more. It was done in a scene. We got a backstory in a scene, and a flashback, and that was it. Like, it should have been played out more. And those kind of things, I think, were shortchanged, where it should have just been introducing a new, you know, superhero, introducing a new villain as well, with Doctor Strange trying to fix that around him. But it just got all muddled.
Absolutely. We've summarised.
I know. We got left, right, and centre with this. Sorry,
we got it. That's all right. So Stephen and America basically go to, which universe do they go to? I haven't put it down. Which one they're in? We do get told the number, don't we?
It's 838.
838.
Yeah.
Cool. And then because they appear, they get kind of locked up. Christine, that's where we get Christine within that universe. Sees Stephen Strange. I made a comment about the fact that Christine wasn't very taken aback by the fact that she was seeing Stephen. It was a bit. She was quite standoffish. And she does say, like, it doesn't really matter in her world. Stephen Strange is a dangerous character, so actually she wouldn't, you know, associate herself in the same way. But I did find that slightly strange. And then, we get some good bits overall. I think I've skipped over it, but one of my favourite bits is at the fortress at Kamatage when Wanda arrives. Yeah. And you get the kind of eerie nature of all the clouds, and she's basically trying to get to America, isn't she?
Yeah.
America Chavez. So she's trying to get there, get to her.
Because we now understand that she can literally, through the calling of her star, she can go into these different dimensions. She can go into these different timelines, and obviously, in order for, you know, again, the character objective for Wanda doesn't change. She just wants to be with her kids. She just wants her kids back, and that follows on from WandaVision. So she kind of uses her as the kind of like catalyst to be able to, for her to travel into these different times and universes. What a flipping awesome superhero like power to have. Do you know what I mean? Like, and this is the other thing, is like we haven't really heard much of America Chavez, and as well no involvement in the Marvel's movie as well. It feels like it, because she can literally travel into different dimensions for a multiversal situation that we're in right now. Seems quite key to have on board with. You know, you want America Chavez on your team, right?
I feel like we didn't get much personality from America Chavez in this. I felt like it was kind of like the sidekick child coming along for the ride. We can get as much flicks of personality that I would have enjoyed, but I think that goes back to our previous points, which is kind of no one got that.
Yeah.
The film was so busy darting here, there, and everywhere that no one really got their fair size of the pie when it came to any exposition about themselves. Well, I've put in Wonderbore, and I can't remember what for. I said it was like Lord of the Rings. Dark magic started in its tombs. Oh, is that where Wong goes with Wanda?
Yeah. Yep.
They go to Wonderboard. Yeah, and then we have the Illuminati. Just like that.
Just like that. They just roll up, they've been there. And again, this is another massive thing. The Illuminati is a huge thing in terms of the comics and source material and a story arc that could quite easily be played through in a TV show or its own standalone thing. But what we got here was just the Illuminati in this kind of moment. And then you get the pop with the Professor X just coming in the X-Men 97, and also you get the sound as well. You get the little sound clip as well of him coming in. Great moment. Again, fan service, great moment, really nice. Would have been great to have a little bit more of Professor X in there in terms of being a little bit more integral into fixing this issue. But I think, we saw all of these different things. We got a real life Haley Atwell as Captain, Britain. It's not Captain Britain. Captain Carter, and we got Captain Marvel instead as well. We've got Black Bolt. Did you see Black Bolt from the series as well was there, and you've got this is the thing, and John Krasinski being Reed Richards was a last minute thing I've just read. So it actually John Krasinski wasn't in it until post production. They kind of literally piped him in as a last minute thing. And again, it just goes to show for me, maybe it was just like, oh, well, we need him in there now because we don't feel like it's strong enough, or we've kind of been rushing our way through it. There was a quote from Sam Raimi. He said that he felt very rushed in the process of the movie as well and stressed in last minute. So it kind of feels like there was this just kind of like, let's just throw everything at it because we've had all these issues going around left, right, centre, and just let the fans get really excited to see John Krasinski as Reed Richards for literally 5 minutes on screen.
Yeah.
You had an opportunity to play something more interesting, more integral for the Illuminati, but no, there we go. They got wiped out in a moment.
Yeah, and I think it was that their death scene it might be the worst scene of any movie I've ever seen in my life.
It's almost a little bit comical.
It is, it is. I think it is comically awful. It is so bad to watch. Like, how on earth that ever got in the movie? I would rather we had the scenes with him and Stephen, and then suddenly they hit Steve, like they're never used again. But I'd rather that than shoehorn a weird Wanda killing everybody like they're fucking pieces of pie. Yeah. Second pie reference I've had in about 5 minutes there. Big interest in pie. But yeah, lots and lots of just random death, and especially Charles's death. It's just very weird scene there.
It was. I mean, I think this is the one thing in terms of what was good is that Sam Raimi, very famous for his horror movies, very good at that kind of stuff as well. And I think in terms of the horror aspect of this movie, I think it was played off really well. And I think it kind of really made a beneficial development for Wanda's character. But like, I think, that's the only thing that really had it going for it, really. The horror scary, the jump scares, the moments of her crawling out of that mirror as well. Like, it all had all these very horror-esque vibes to it, where they were running away from her, when in the tunnel moment where she was on the chase with them, and as well during this mass death scene with the Illuminati, and then killing, particularly, Charles Xavier, like literally out of the rubble, literally grabbing him and snapping his neck. It was like, oh my God, that's a national treasure. You can't do that. I was like, you can't do that. Not to our Patrick Stewart. He's a national treasure. But I was hoping we was going to get more, but no, they just kind of went, yeah, here he is, and he's dead.
And dead, and we won't talk about them or refer to them again.
No.
Yeah, but
I would have. We should have just got like, I don't know, maybe a completely different Professor X. I don't know. It just almost felt like it was like.
Mordo, we had Mordo back.
We did have Mordo back. Mordo.
And he was great. He was really good. Having a threat to Stephen Strange was nice. Again, not done for long enough, and not done with enough kind of emphasis on that relationship, and not enough kind of here's where we're at with them two as well. Like why they're they're sworn enemies and all that stuff. But he was good in it. Yeah, and then we get to Strange in the Other Universe, who does have another name, doesn't he? It's the Dark Strange.
Yeah, it's
Oh, names.
Oh my God, names. It's not Doctor Strange. It's
not Dark Strange. I've got a feeling that's like a one-word jobby as well. It's like a short name, isn't it?
It's like a more. So it's in Supreme. Oh my God, I can't believe I forgot that. Supreme Strange. Because we got Supreme Strange in What If.
Yeah.
And I was raving about that episode in particular, which you absolutely hated. But I still stand by it. I still think it's a good episode. But I think the introduction of Supreme Strange is good, and I think again that was a highlight for Benedict Cumberbatch. Would have been good to get more again, just of his backstory of why he did what he did. It was almost like we caught Supreme Strange at his kind of moment of him getting to be a little bit more of a dark, mystical Doctor Strange, but it wasn't fully formed in a way. But I liked it. I think it was a good moment. Again, they lent into the horror aspect within it, and I think the kind of the fight scene that they did within the top bit. What did you think of that in terms of using the powers and stuff? What do you think?
Yeah,
we've spoken about this previously. When we first watched it, we both went, "That was a bit shit." Like it could have been way more hard hitting, but we were having moments of like music
using
the notes around him and stuff, and I was like,
it just felt incredibly. There's a lot of moments in this film that feel a bit cringy as an audience. You're just a bit like, what is this about? It's very strange shit. No, it wasn't, but I did love Supreme Strange, and for me that is like I'd like that to be our Strange, because actually. There's more. Yeah. There is like it's properly dark there. That's not a Strange sitting in the middle for me. That's a dark, evil Strange, and that's the kind of shit I want, mate. I'd love that. Bring me more of that. But Xavier tells Strange tells him where the Book of Vishanti is in order to save America, or not the country, America, Chavez. Yeah, how does... yes, question. So when Stephen Strange meets Supreme Strange, our Strange, tells Supreme about his sister.
Yep.
My question is, how does Supreme Strange know about the circumstances of another universe's sister?
It's because he's already done it. He's already been through that. He's already been through that story. Do you know what I mean? He's like his narrative is beyond that point of where our let's use the word sacred timeline Strange is currently at. He's seen all these eventualities.
Yeah, of course, yeah, because he has, that's fair. Gotcha.
But like I just, you know what, while we're talking, I'm just looking up because I'm genuinely again just trying to understand what went wrong with this movie. The original cut of Multiverse of Madness apparently was almost 3 hours long.
Whoa.
3 hours long, and this is a 2 hour and 6 minute film. That explains a fair bit. Again, certain characters weren't fleshed out enough. Certain character arcs weren't fully developed. We kind of jumped to certain moments, and with little justification as well. But
I'd like to see the 3-hour version.
But that's the thing. That's it. Let's do it. I think there already has been. Actually, I think there has been a call out for an extended version of this movie. But it would be amazing if we could see like a 3-hour version of this movie, just to see what was on the cutting table, because I'm interested, because I think there might have been a lot of more America Chavez stuff as well.
Bring us the Raimi cuts.
The Raimi cut. Let's do it.
Raimi cut. Yeah, because actually, I think, like you say, what you said is spot on about a longer film for this might actually be better, because some of the moments that were a bit like, what the fuck, would be less like that. So yeah, we have all of those, mate. And then at the end, so we Strange has gone through all of this. Goes back to his or our Doctor Strange's normal universe.
Yep.
Which at this point I can't remember the number of. It's got a 3 in it, hasn't it? Can't remember what the actual sacred timeline.
Ours is 616. So the sacred timeline is 616. There's also kind of a theory not a theory, a controversy over the fact that the animated Spider-Man second movie talks about Earth 1999999, and apparently saying it actually, well, is that 616? But actually, when you think about it, different multiverses will probably name the Earths differently as well, and different multiverses differently. So. But yeah, according to Kevin Feige, we're 616.
616. So they return to 616, and everything is fine. I think I can't even remember. So with America, what happens with America in the end?
Well, she gets caught, doesn't she? She gets captured, and she gets placed on the table for her to then to form the dimensional cut for her to WandaVision to then go through to then find her kids. And obviously, in order for that to happen as well, we have Zombie Strange that turns up because he can't become Strange. He actually has to reanimate a dead Strange and possess it through using the Darkhold, which I think is actually quite a cool moment. I quite enjoyed it. I don't know about you. What do you think about that? Are you losing the will to live, mate? Are you right?
No. I think this film for me, this is one of those films where I think Doctor Strange in general is a character that you quite like.
I'm going to say it now. You absolutely hate talking about him, don't you?
It's not a character I have any interest in. So when we talk about it, I feel like I get so confused, because there's books of Ashantis, there's pyramids of Charyblas, there's fucking honestly, music notes being thrown about.
Benedict Cumberbatch is listening to this right now, and you're making an enemy out of him, mate.
No, Benedict. Sherlock is fantastic, mate. Absolutely, man. I think, I like me Guardians. I like, they zip along. Yeah, I like, this is too difficult for my little brain
it's true. I can't. Guys, you know what, mate? I can't do this. It's too much. It's talking about time and stuff and mystical things. I just like my animals. I like my raccoon friend. I like to talk about a silly, muscly man who kind of talks about being invisible while he eats Zog nuts. Yeah. Peter Quill, he's a cool lad, talking about his cassette tapes and stuff with cool music, yeah.
Oh, well, actually, I really like the fact that Doctor Strange has gone through all of these possibilities of life, and so, of course, he's not got any emotion or any interest about him whatsoever, because he's already lived it. So if he's lived it, why would he be interesting? He's gonna be boring.
Nah, look, I'll be honest, mate. I can't be dealing with that mess now. Nah.
No, but the zombie moment is great. I love zombies. He animates a zombie. It's great fun.
Oh my god. What did you think about that fight scene at the end, though? In terms of the suspected demise of WandaVision I keep saying WandaVision of Wanda, which isn't. Scarlet Witch it's pretty much confirmed that she's not dead. She might be turning up as well in other projects in the future as well, which is exciting. But what do you think about that final combat scene? Again, for me, I'll say it now, it was flat. There wasn't really much stakes. The final moments of the building, the temple, whatever it was, crumbling down on Scarlet Witch, again, just made me go, well, I know she's not dead.
Yeah.
Like, we all know that. Don't make us think like that she's dead, because we know that's not the case.
And I think that was a common theme throughout this film, is that any action sequence felt like it had no gravitas, because you knew the nature of that was never gonna. So even at the very first time where Wanda comes to Kamar-Taj and they have that initial fight, apart from the soldiers that nobody's met and nobody cares about, it was never gonna, the likes of Wong, the likes of Strange were never ever going to be impacted by that. They were never going to get rid of America that early on. So I think the sense of threat is somehow kind of belittled, and I know that's kind of throughout Marvel, really. But other films have a nature of like genuine jeopardy, whereas this never quite feels like that throughout the whole film.
It's I'm just reading things. We could have got more multiverses as well. Apparently, in the original script, there were more time traveling through different multiverses, and playing within potential threads of future projects as well. There was also kind of multiverses of like looking at an old time noir version, which we would have had Spider-Man Noir. Which is, again, that's such an opportunity for us as fans to kind of like see, but they didn't do it. I think there's all kinds of things that kind of went wrong, and I think some of it were out of their control in terms of the change of writers, change of vision, scripts changing. COVID is something that they couldn't deal with, in terms of. They tried, but there was so many things going left, right, and centre during that time. We all know, we all lived through that, and so I think we have to forgive that for that. But it's a convoluted film. If there's anything in terms of an MCU project where you want to go, okay, I want to watch something that's really convoluted. Okay, watch Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness, because it felt like there was 3, 4, 5 different things going on at the same time. When really it should have just been really focusing more screen time with Scarlet Witch. We should have got more, and playing out America Chavez as well, introducing that character, being truthful to that character as well, and finding opportunities for that character as a legacy forward. It's a shame. It's a shame. I will not watch this movie for a very long time.
There you go.
I'm saying now. So, I mean, give me your final thoughts, Forrest, and let's give our crisper rating.
Just to say that at the end of the film, the eye Akamoto appears, which will give him extra abilities moving forward.
That's the other thing. Charlize Theron just turns up, right, and just go, look at all these incursions, look at all these things that we're doing, and it's just like, okay, cool. We kind of knew that. We knew that, but he didn't know that. It very much obviously leading into another Doctor Strange movie, but I'll be interested to know what do we. Well, there's no concrete plans right now, is there? Nothing's been announced in terms of the third one.
Nothing's been announced, and to be honest, Matt, I might wait 4 days once it comes out. It won't be a first day trip for me, man. That one, Doctor Strange 3. Christ,
you have to do it though, mate.
Imagine the sheer fun of that.
That's a podcast obligation for you.
That is. Well, hopefully they'll spend more time on the next script, and it will be, fleshed out a bit more. Benedict might decide to put a bit of emotion into his performance. Who knows? Anything's possible. So overall summary, I think there's flickers of like all rightness in there. There's some decent characters, some very, very good cast list. It's, you know, it sets out, like, it gives us more of the multiverse, which is always exciting. More of an insight in the multiverse, which is always exciting. I really do love the character of Wanda, and I'm interested in the Scarlet Witch. Looking forward to seeing where that goes, because, like you say, she's evidently not dead. I think overall, my crisp rating for this would probably be cheese and onion walkers, mate. I would never go near it. It's just not
really
my
interesting.
thing.
You'd never. That is literally the bog standard crisps that we have in this house. The girls love them.
Is it?
Obsessed with them. Yeah,
Cheese and
obsessed,
onion.
mate. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. For me, it's like a packet of Space Invaders. Now, if you're an international listener, it's just like this, like overly pungent pickle kind of like flavored crisp with just like corn. So it's just really like a dried corn crisp, and it's so airy, and there's no consistency to it. You don't feel overly great about it. It's like a I fancy that now. I'm gonna have it right now. And then once it's done, it's done. Yeah, underwhelming.
Have you ever had saucy barbecue, Space Raiders?
No, never.
Saucy barbecue, genuinely game changer.
Really?
Everything you've said about the flavour. If you have the spicy barbecue,
Saucy
barbecue, not spicy, saucy. Ooh, it's gorgeous, mate.
Ooh, okay.
Lovely.
Fair play.
Recommend it, saucy barbecue.
But
yes. Yeah, so disappointment all round for this film, really.
Oh well, that's fine. We've
what
done
a
it now.
podcast.
What a podcast! Like, I'm so sorry to listen. What a chore that's been for us. Literally.
I would argue it's probably not as bad as
Ant-Man, wasn't it?
Eternals.
Eternals.
Ant-Man.
God, yeah. Yeah,
it's
God.
not quite up there with that, but it was
give
pretty
us-
bad.
Give me kind of flashbacks to Eternals, man. Anyway, we had I tell you what. There's one thing. If there's one thing that you need to do, set your reminders, dear listener. On Monday, we will be featured on the Galactic Core podcast with Andy. That will be live on Monday. We were talking about Loki Series 2, Episode 2. It was a much more positive podcast than this one. So
Joyous.
do go over, have a listen, give him some love, share and follow him on Instagram and everywhere else. Give him all the love and support. As it was such a good time, wasn't it? We had a brilliant time on the podcast. It was absolutely wonderful.
Absolutely amazing time. So we got this out today, that out on Monday, and then on Wednesday we've got a very special podcast as we're joined by the writer director of The Last Deal, as well as a member of the cast who just so happens to have done a bit of combat in Marvel projects.
Oh yeah.
So got some very exciting interviews that will be released on Wednesday's podcast.
Yeah, and again, that's kind of a new format for us as well in terms of like interviewing people within these projects, within MCU and DC projects as well, and any projects that they're doing. Learn not only just learning about their experience of those projects, but also learning about their craft. Us being creatives and actors ourselves, really interested to see what they come up with in terms of their journeys as performers and creatives on this planet that we all share. Forrest, I love you, mate, but I need to go get a coffee.
You do, but before you do, do you know what's coming up next?
What's coming up next?
If you were disappointed by Doctor Strange, you're going to be even more disappointed because it's She-Hulk, my friend.
Oh,
it's She-Hulk.
Buckle up, dear listener. Buckle up.
Attorney at Law is coming up next.
Can we skip it?
No, mate. We cannot skip it. We might love it. It might be amazing.
Great. Really? Do you think?
Well, there were parts of it that were thoroughly entertaining.
Okay, fine. I'll do it. Do you know what? Sometimes this is one of those things where you're like, you just got to dig deep. Dear listener, we're going to dig deep and we're going to go into it fresh. We're going to go in it with a blank canvas. We're going to see what's going on. The good, the bad, the ugly. All right? I'm going to dig into it. I'm going to nibble on the She-Hulk and I'm going to start with your fire. Like that. That's what I'm going to do.
Go and get your coffee, mate.
Sorry.
Go and enjoy.
I love you, mate. I love you, dear listeners, so much.
See you later, mate.
You take care.
Take care.
Bye-bye then.
Bye now.